City of Tshwane has been placed under administration after several failed attempts to elect a new mayor. Cooperative Governance MEC Lebogang Maile will hold an urgent meeting with the Metro Council. Our reporter Avi Mdila is there and joins me live now. Avi, do we know as yet the reasons for this urgent meeting? Hi, Avi, are you with us? Do we know the reasons for this meeting?
Well, we do understand that MEC Lebogang Maile will basically be addressing. Well, Faith, I'm not sure if you can hear me now, but the MEC is basically addressing senior management here at the City of Tshwane, just following the Premier's decision to put the city under administration, basically. So the MEC, Lebogang Maile, is expected to map out clearly the EXO's decision to dissolve the city, as well as address the urgent challenges that the city faces, as well as also basically look at ways that they'll pave the way forward for the city. We're actually waiting for the MEC. He's making his way to us at this moment. We should be speaking to him just in a short while, but we understand that the meeting is supposed to take place at 9 o'clock here at Tshwane House.
I mean, Avi, one of the biggest matters on the agenda should be the appointment of a city manager, just to ensure that operations are actually running.
Well, you would understand that the city in itself doesn't have a mayor, doesn't have a city manager as it stands. And in fact, that decision came under those conditions. I'm not sure if the MEC is making his way here. It's still coming to us just to basically map out what's happening. But you would understand that, in fact, as all of these political ramblings are going on, the city itself and the people of the city are suffering. We do understand that the Premier did say that the decision to put the city under administration was because of irregular appointments of senior managers, as well as a failure to elect ward committee in time, as well as unauthorized, fruitless, wasteful expenditure highlighted in the audit report. So those are some of the reasons behind putting the city under administration. But you would understand that the DA came out also saying that it will be taking legal action about the Premier's decision, saying that it was done unlawfully, and as well, basically they will challenge it in court, saying that this is ANC's ploy, in fact, to walk out of council meetings, is ANC's ploy to dissolve the city. So it will be interesting to see how the DA will handle it going forward.
I mean, I had a conversation with John Moody just really about the strategy here on 4th, and what's been quite apparent is that if there's a need to go into these by-elections, then let's so do, and hopefully the people get to then decide who they want to govern the city.
Certainly, we do understand that the by-elections are coming up just next year, 2021. It's municipal elections, in fact. And we heard even the EFF earlier on at that Black Business Summit. We had the opportunity just to doorstop the leader of the EFF, who said that, in fact, they are in support of this decision to put the city under administration. And, in fact, they believe that they'll get a clear mandate from the voters when we go into those elections, a clear mandate of a party that will run the city without any coalition. They're hoping for that the voters will give them that mandate, because they're saying that these coalitions, the DA-led coalition of the City of Tshwane, has essentially failed the people of the City of Tshwane here.
Avi, before we let you go, I know that there's a big issue, especially on the ground, around service delivery. The people of Tshwane actually complaining about the lack of services and poor service delivery they've suffered as a result. One would wonder, does then that get affected at all? And what happens to the services? I mean, water, for example, or the shortage thereof, is just one of those issues that have been highlighted by the people of Tshwane.
Well, certainly, Faith, you'd understand that while it's one of those issues where the big bulls, while they're battling out on the surface, on the grass, actually, it's the people that suffer. You mentioned the critical issue of the water, challenges around water in the City of Tshwane. And so clearly, this needs to be addressed urgently. We understand that in 90 days, effectively, they should have a new mayor, in fact. And that election should be held, I beg your pardon, within the next 90 days. That will give clear indication. But just walking into shot now, we have the MEC of Human Settlements and Urban Planning and COPTA, Lebogang Maile, just joining us now. Thank you for joining us, MEC. But just this meeting briefly, what's at the fore of it?
Well, morning. to the viewers at home. We want to consult with the senior managers in the municipality because, as you know, once the decision takes effect, they will be at the center of implementing it. So it is very important that you get their buy-in. And we will also be meeting with other stakeholders like labor, unions and civil society as well. On Wednesday, for instance, the entire Executive Council led by the Premier will be visiting communities to ensure that we mobilize everybody and make them understand the rationale for this decision and get them to support us.
The DA basically says that they will be taking legal action against this decision to put the city under administration, saying that it was done illegally and in fact it's an ANC ploy to dissolve the city as a whole. What would you say in this response?
Well, it's their right, but we are confident that we have done everything by the book, and that's why we understand very well that the Minister of COCTA and the NCOP must still give us concurrence, and then we will be able to immediately appoint the administrator. So this is part of the process of preparing for that 90-day period which the administrator will be running the municipality, because there's a lot of work that must happen. There's a lot of challenges. Even as we speak now, there's some communities don't have water here. They're threatening to take to the streets and all that, which demonstrates that things are not working. So if the DA wants to go to court, they must suit themselves. I mean, it's their right. We don't have a problem with it, but we'll certainly meet them in court. And we are confident that everything that we have followed all the processes and that we've got a strong case.
Let me see, while all of this is happening and this political fighting happening, essentially, the people are suffering. You mentioned yourself that there's a key issue of water in the city of Tshwane. Those issues aren't being addressed. What do you want to tell your voters while this is all going on?
Well, today, one of the things we are saying to the senior managers is that they must not worry about politics. They must continue providing services to the people because the ratepayers are paying their salaries. And as the provincial government, we took this decision because we want to put an end to this misery. We want to make sure that the municipality and its workers focus on delivering to our people. So that period where political parties will be contesting each other and IEC will be preparing for elections, the city will be running normally through an administrator, and we hope at that time there will be a huge difference in how the city execute its responsibilities.
And just lastly, what outcomes can we expect from this meeting?
Well, like I've said, it's just consultation, but to also get the buy-in of the senior managers and assure them that this decision doesn't necessarily affect them as managers, but it affects the council, the political wing of council, and therefore the administrator will be working with them, and we want them to support the administrator, but we also want to get a better sense from them on how they think things can be improved, because otherwise it won't be helpful to come here and behave as if we have all the solutions to the problems. These are the people who work in the municipality, who have been here for a long time, some of them, and who will have a better understanding than us on how best to move, and that's why it's important that we must have a session with them, because in a week's time, after next week, we should be able to announce a comprehensive plan of action in terms of how are we going to deal with service delivery issues once the administrator is here. But that program can only be developed if you look at the plans of the municipality currently, you look at the resources available, what are the constraints, what are the skills shortages, because as we said, even the administrator is not going to be one person. We want to bring a set of skills, so we can't just bring skills that are not needed. So this meeting is important to make sure that we understand that what skill set are needed, and we are able to put a program that is comprehensive, that is implementable, and that is costed already. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to just put administration, and the next thing, the administrator is spending the 3 months trying to put together plans. There's no time for that.
Thank you very much. That is the MEC of Human Settlements, Urban Planning and Kokta, Lebohang Maela, basically saying that they're going into this meeting just to assure the senior management of the City of Tshwane that they can continue with their jobs and delivering services to the people of Tshwane while the political heads are battling it out.
RVMT giving us the latest from Tshwane.